Hi there and welcome to another session of Accountancy for the 12th Standard with me, Vishwanath sir. Today we shall be going to the part B of Accountancy, where we shall do the financial statement analysis. So basically you have got 5 chapters in that, and out of those 5 chapters, it's 2 chapters which have got a bit of sums and the other 3 are generally theory. You have one particular chapter where there are tools of financial statement analysis, where you have to find the comparative and common size. So that isn't much of calculation, it is just plus, minus and multiplication. So these are certain things which we are going to do in this part. There is no part which is omitted from part B. Whatever has been omitted from part A, which includes your partnership accounts, a certain few topics inside a chapter, and a little bit in your debentures aspect. So let us understand slowly what is a financial statement of a company, because as such this is a non-consequential chapter in terms of marks, but it will be useful for many other chapters to come ahead. So let me tell you something about financial statements of a company. Now, when we are following the companies, we are following the Companies Act of 2013, Schedule 3, where the set of financial statements are there, where you have the balance sheet, you have the profit and loss accounts, you have the notes to account, you have the cash flow statement, and you whatever relevant notes to accounts are also there. So your balance sheet consists of course assets and liabilities has even equity, and the balance sheet is known as a position statement because it helps you know what is the condition of a organization, what is the working condition, how it is standing. While as your profit and loss shows the financial performance, this is also known as the income statement. Okay. And you have notes to accounts, because the notes to accounts will give you a detailed explanation regarding certain items which are there in the balance sheet. Okay, not only balance sheet, even in the income statement, which is a profit and loss account statement. Then as per the Accounting Standards 3, it's compulsory now that they prepare a cash flow statement, and the cash flow is a compulsory 6 marks question, which is the last chapter in this particular section of analysis of financial statements, and the last question in the paper also. In the paper also it's the last question. So first let me quickly go through what is a financial statement, what is the definition of a financial statement, so we will get very clear with it. There is absolutely no need to mug up pinpoint definitions. It's very important that you understand the definitions so you can put it forward easily. Mr. John Mayer tells that financial statements are summary of accounts of a business enterprise. The balance sheet reflects the assets, liabilities and capital as on a certain date, and the income statement showing the results and the operations during a certain period. Okay, so this is a very clear definition. So if you have understood this definition, we don't need to refer to any other definitions. Okay, let's go through the characteristics and nature of financial statements. Now when you are talking about characteristics, or you are talking about the features of financial statements, they relate to the past period. They are historical records, they are historical documents. Okay, and they are expressed in money terms, because that is the only term which we can understand, and if you mix it and do it with different things, it is not possible for others to interpret it. So everything is expressed in money terms, and they show the financial position through the balance sheet and the financial performance through the income statement, which is the profit and loss statement. Okay, these are characteristics of financial statements. Let us come to the balance sheet, the most important document of any organization. Okay, it shows the financial position of a company at a specific point of time. Okay, there are two parts. There are two parts of the balance sheet. That is, the assets is equal to the liabilities plus the owner's equity. Now, what method we are going to follow is this is known as the vertical format. We are not going to follow the horizontal format where we had done sums of liabilities, amount, assets. Now here the liability and the capital will be on the top, and below that will be the assets. Okay, so this is very important. This is very important for you to know. In fact, this format of the balance sheet, it should be learnt very thoroughly. We will discuss this format in patches because it's very important. This chapter, as I told you, inconsequential, but it is consequential to many other chapters. Okay, so coming back to the characteristics of balance sheet, it is prepared by taking the balances of the assets, liabilities and equity as on a date which is prepared. It starts from actually 1st April, but we always take the last date because what has happened during the full year, that is to be taken into account. The account in balance sheet may have an opening balance and during the year, and the closing balance of course at the end of the year. What we are now going to discuss is the characteristics of the profit and loss account, also known as the income statement. It shows the financial performance. See, that is a financial statement. Here this shows the financial performance of a business, that is your revenue, expenses, profits, losses for the particular period. It is prepared for the past period. Of course, you cannot predict the future. You have to finish with the past first. How can you predict with the months ahead what is going to be the business? It is for a specific accounting period. So it's basically for 1 year. Our accounting period usually is from the 1st of April and it ends on the 31st of March in the next year. So it completes that full cycle of 12 months. Okay. What is the nature of financial statements? Like, what is it all about? So explaining the nature, you can tell firstly recorded facts. Whatever happens, because this serves as a basis of evidence, whatever happens, if you put it down, it becomes a legal proof. Okay, it becomes a legal proof. So when your accounts are verified and if the things are in order, you are safe. But if it is not in order, they will search further and find out where are the discrepancies, and you could land up into trouble. Also, there is accounting conventions. Basically, conventions are certain concepts which are followed along with your, along with your books of accounts, and you should write whatever is your expected profits, your expected losses. Okay, all these things are basically done for the sake of estimating what is going to happen in the future. We also have got accounting concepts, like for example, we have taken in the 11th standard the going concern concept, which means that the organization is going to go on for an unlimited period of time. It's an assumption that it's going to go on for an unlimited period of time. We cannot tell that this organization is going to last for so many months or so many years. Okay. Then we have got the accounting standard. These are guidelines which are specified in the Companies Act of 2013, and their guidelines means they will guide you through. They will guide you through narrow channels and they will help you out. Okay. Certain things are estimates. So when we prepare certain financial statements, what is the depreciation? So we go on a fixed basis. What is the source of financial information is also very important, because these should be supported with thorough evidences and documents. You cannot put any figure in your accounts. It is verifiable by your chartered accountants. Okay, fine. So this is your nature of financial statements. Then we come to the contents of the annual report. Now, what is the annual report? Annual report basically is a document where the report of the directors are there, auditor's report is there, the financial statement, that is the balance sheet, profit and loss account, notes to account, and cash flow statement is all there. Okay, and yeah, this we do not need to dwell anything in detail. And now I come into the most important aspect, that what is the format of the balance sheet. What is the format of your balance sheet? Now basically, as I told you, your format, you will be dividing it into two parts. You will be dividing it into two parts. On the top, it will be your equity and liability, and below it will be your assets. Okay. Now this is clear. On the top it is equity and liability, below it is assets. Now let us talk about equity and liability. We divide the equity and liability into four parts. Okay, get this very clear. We divide the equity and liability into four parts. So today I shall be plainly explaining, I shall be plainly explaining to you about the balance sheet, and in the next turn I shall go into detail about each of the items, so you will understand it more thoroughly. Okay, the first four are shareholders funds, share application, money pending allotment, non-current liabilities, and current liabilities. Okay, so your equity and liability consists of four parts. Repeating again: shareholders funds, share application, money pending allotment. Okay, share application, money pending allotment, non-current liabilities, and current liabilities. So it's divided into four parts. It's divided into four parts, absolutely into four parts. Okay. Now coming to the assets, it's divided into two main parts: non-current assets and current assets. Non-current assets are those assets which will last for a long period of time, whereas current assets are those assets which is going to have a shorter span. Okay, so repeating again, your balance sheet is divided into two halves. The top half is known as equity and liabilities. The bottom half is known as assets. Remember, your equity and liability is equal to the assets. Okay, so your balance sheet has to tally, it has to have the same amount, only then it can happen. So talking about shareholders funds, now when we are talking about shareholders funds, it's divided into three parts. It is divided into share capital, reserves and surplus, and money received against share warrants. Okay, it is money received against share warrants also. So it's divided into three parts. So let us understand what is a share capital. Today I shall tell you in a very general manner, and then in the next turn to come we shall dig into the details about what is your equity and liability and what is the shareholders funds consisting of. So your shareholders funds consists of the share capital. Now what is the share capital? It's basically the amount which is invested into the business, and this share capital is divided into different parts. It's divided into shares. Okay, it's divided into shares, and there is different bifurcation of the capitals, like authorized, issued, subscribed. Okay, subscribed, and subscribed is further divided into subscribed and fully paid up, and subscribed and not fully paid up. Okay, so this is something which you need to know, and you should be, even if a balance sheet is given to you, you should be able to know which part goes where. Okay, which part goes where is something which you will always need. Okay, fine. So this is what you need to revise today. What is the balance sheet? What are the bifurcations of the balance sheet? On the top, that is the equity and liability, which consists of four parts, that is shareholders funds, share application, money pending allotment, non-current liabilities, current liabilities. In the assets, you have got non-current assets and current assets. Please go through this because it is important when you are doing certain sums. Okay, and revise it thoroughly. Good for you. Thank you so much. This is Vishwanath sir signing off.